In a recent legal development, federal judge Timothy Kelly has denied Josh Duggar's request for a court-appointed attorney to assist him in challenging his conviction for possession of child bad abuse material. This decision marks a significant moment in Duggar's ongoing legal saga, as he seeks to overturn the 12-year prison sentence handed down in December 2021. Following this ruling, Duggar now faces the challenge of pursuing an appeal without government-funded legal representation, raising questions about the implications for his case and the broader context of legal aid in high-profile convictions. Duggar, who is best known for his role in the reality television show 19 Kids and Counting, was convicted on 2 counts related to CSAM after a jury found sufficient evidence linking him to the possession of illicit material. His sentencing underscored the seriousness of the charges against him, with the court emphasizing the need for accountability in cases involving child exploitation. The denial of his request for a court-appointed attorney comes at a crucial juncture, as Duggar must now navigate the complexities of the appeals process without the benefit of free legal assistance. The judge's decision highlights the stringent criteria that must be met for individuals seeking court-appointed counsel, particularly in post-conviction proceedings. Typically, such appointments are reserved for defendants who demonstrate both financial need and a substantial likelihood of success on the merits of their appeal. In Duggar's case, it appears the court determined that these conditions were not sufficiently met, thereby denying him access to state-funded legal resources. This outcome not only impacts Duggar's immediate prospects for appeal, but also raises broader concerns regarding the accessibility of legal representation for those facing similar challenges. As Duggar prepares to move forward, the lack of a court-appointed attorney may complicate his ability to effectively contest the conviction. While he retains the right to pursue an appeal independently or seek private counsel, the financial burden associated with hiring an attorney could pose a significant hurdle. Furthermore, the intricacies of appellate law often necessitate specialized knowledge and experience, which may be difficult to replicate without professional legal guidance. This situation also invites scrutiny into the broader implications of legal aid availability in the United States, particularly for individuals convicted of serious offenses. As public interest in Duggar's case remains high, discussions surrounding the rights of the accused and the responsibilities of the judicial system to provide equitable access to justice may gain traction. Ultimately, the denial of Duggar's request serves as a reminder of the complexities inherent in the legal landscape, where individual circumstances intersect with broader systemic issues. Josh Duggar's conviction stems from a series of events that culminated in his arrest and prosecution for possessing child sexual abuse material. In April 2021, law enforcement agents executed a search warrant at his residence in Springdale, Arkansas, uncovering digital files containing illegal content. The investigation traced the material back to Duggar through his use of a peer-to-peer file-sharing network, where investigators identified IP addresses linked to his home. Federal prosecutors presented digital forensics showing that Duggar had knowingly accessed and stored explicit images of minors, leading to his indictment on 2 counts of receiving and distributing CSAM under 18 U.S.C. SS 2252A.2. During the trial, prosecutors emphasized the severity of Duggar's actions, arguing that his deliberate efforts to conceal his activity demonstrated intent and premeditation. They highlighted evidence indicating that Duggar had used multiple devices, including laptops and external hard drives, to download and store the illicit material. Additionally, testimony from forensic analysts confirmed that Duggar had actively searched for and downloaded CSAM over an extended period. The defense, however, sought to mitigate culpability by asserting that Duggar suffered from a psychological disorder and had voluntarily sought treatment prior to his arrest. They argued that his past actions did not reflect current behavior, and that his religious beliefs played a role in his attempts at rehabilitation. Despite these arguments, the jury found Duggar guilty on both counts. In December 2021, Judge Timothy Kelly sentenced him to 12 years in federal prison, citing the gravity of the offense and the need to deter others from engaging in similar conduct. The court rejected calls for leniency, emphasizing that Duggar's crime involved real victims whose suffering warranted severe consequences. The sentencing memorandum noted that while Duggar had taken steps toward counseling, those efforts did not outweigh the harm caused by his possession of CSAM. The judge also addressed concerns about recidivism, stating that Duggar's continued access to technology posed a risk to public safety if not properly monitored. Following the conviction and sentencing, Duggar initiated post-conviction motions, including his recent request for a court-appointed attorney to assist in challenging his case. His legal team argued that new developments in jurisprudence might support an appeal, particularly concerning sentencing guidelines and the interpretation of relevant statutes. However, Judge Kelly's rejection of the motion leaves Duggar responsible for securing independent legal representation, further complicating his path to appeal. As the case progresses, the legal battle will likely hinge on whether Duggar can present compelling grounds for overturning the verdict or reducing his sentence, though the absence of appointed counsel presents a formidable obstacle. With Judge Timothy Kelly's refusal to appoint legal counsel, Josh Duggar now faces a daunting challenge in mounting an effective appeal without government-funded representation. The absence of a court-appointed attorney significantly limits his ability to navigate the complex legal procedures required to contest a federal conviction. Appellate litigation demands specialized expertise, particularly in cases involving child sexual abuse material charges, where procedural nuances and evolving precedents can heavily influence outcomes. Without professional legal guidance, Duggar must either pursue his appeal pro se, meaning without an attorney, or secure private counsel at his own expense, both of which present considerable obstacles. If Duggar chooses to represent himself, he will encounter numerous difficulties. Federal appellate courts impose strict filing requirements, including detailed legal arguments supported by relevant case law and statutory interpretations. Pro se litigants often struggle to meet these standards, increasing the likelihood that any appeal would be dismissed on procedural grounds rather than substantive merit. Additionally, Duggar's lack of formal legal training may hinder his ability to identify viable grounds for appeal, such as potential errors in the trial court's rulings, jury instructions, or sentencing calculations. Even if he manages to submit a legally sound petition, the sheer complexity of federal appellate procedures makes success improbable without experienced legal representation. Alternatively, Duggar could attempt to hire a private attorney to handle his appeal, but financial constraints may prevent him from doing so. Although his family gained national attention through their reality television show, 19 Kids and Counting, the Duggars have publicly stated that they are unable to afford legal fees following the extensive costs of his trial and incarceration. Legal experts estimate that a federal criminal appeal can cost tens of thousands of dollars, covering expenses such as transcript preparation, legal research, and court filings. Given these financial barriers, securing competent appellate counsel may prove unattainable unless Duggar receives external funding or pro bono assistance, a scenario that remains unlikely given the nature of his conviction. Beyond procedural and financial hurdles, the legal merits of Duggar's potential appeal also appear tenuous. His previous legal team attempted to argue that changes in sentencing jurisprudence might justify a reduced sentence, but Judge Kelly's rejection of that motion suggests skepticism toward such claims. Unless Duggar can present newly discovered evidence or demonstrate that constitutional violations occurred during his trial, the likelihood of successfully overturning his conviction remains slim. Without adequate legal representation, identifying and articulating compelling legal arguments becomes even more improbable, leaving Duggar in a precarious position as he seeks to challenge his conviction and sentence. The denial of Josh Duggar's request for a court-appointed attorney underscores the broader challenges faced by individuals seeking legal representation in post-conviction proceedings. Under the Criminal Justice Act, indigent defendants are entitled to government-appointed counsel in certain circumstances, primarily during trial and initial appeals. However, once a conviction becomes final, the availability of CJA-funded attorneys diminishes significantly unless the defendant can demonstrate a compelling basis for further review. This limitation places a heavy burden on individuals attempting to challenge their convictions without financial means, raising concerns about equity within the legal system. Legal experts note that post-conviction relief, including habeas corpus petitions and appeals based on newly discovered evidence or constitutional violations, often requires specialized legal expertise. Yet, without court-appointed attorneys, many incarcerated individuals are forced to navigate these complex procedures on their own. Studies have shown that pro se litigants face significantly lower success rates compared to those represented by attorneys, largely due to procedural missteps and insufficient legal argumentation. This disparity highlights a fundamental issue. While the Sixth Amendment guarantees the right to counsel during trial, no such absolute right exists when appealing a conviction, particularly in federal courts. The implications of this legal framework extend beyond high-profile cases like Duggar's. For individuals with limited financial resources, the inability to secure legal representation after a conviction can result in prolonged incarceration despite potentially valid grounds for appeal. Advocacy groups have long called for expanded access to post-conviction legal aid, arguing that inadequate representation perpetuates systemic inequities. Meanwhile, critics contend that unrestricted access to court-appointed attorneys for all post-conviction appeals would strain judicial resources and prioritize certain cases over others. This debate reflects the ongoing tension between ensuring due process and managing the practical limitations of the legal system. The denial of Josh Duggar's request for a court-appointed attorney has reignited intense public and media scrutiny, reflecting the polarized perspectives surrounding his case. Social media platforms have become battlegrounds for opposing viewpoints, with some users expressing outrage over what they perceive as judicial leniency in the original sentencing, while others argue that Duggar deserves a fair opportunity to challenge his conviction. On one side, critics emphasize the severity of his crime, pointing to the lasting trauma inflicted on victims of child sexual abuse material and questioning why any additional legal accommodations should be made for someone convicted of such an offense. Hashtags such as Justice for Victims and No Second Chances have trended on Twitter, reinforcing calls for stricter legal consequences and highlighting the broader societal demand for accountability in cases involving child exploitation. Conversely, some supporters of Duggar, particularly among conservative Christian communities, frame the denial as an example of excessive punishment and a failure to recognize personal redemption. Influential figures within evangelical circles have voiced sympathy for Duggar, referencing his history of seeking therapy and public apologies as evidence of remorse. Some argue that his sentence was disproportionately harsh, especially when compared to other federal cases involving CSA and possession. Online forums and Facebook groups dedicated to supporting families affected by the downfall of the Duggar family continue to circulate petitions and fundraising campaigns aimed at securing private legal representation for Duggar's appeal. In a heartwarming and nostalgic moment that left fans buzzing with excitement, Jinger Duggar recently shared a surprise photo that brought together two beloved realities from different corners of the reality TV universe. The image, which featured Jinger alongside a cast member from the iconic show TLC, was an unexpected crossover that felt both surreal and deeply meaningful to longtime viewers of both shows. The post quickly went viral, sparking conversations across social media platforms and drawing attention from fans who never imagined such a connection would come to life. For those who have followed Jinger's journey over the years, this moment represented more than just a simple photo op. It was a symbol of her growth, independence, and the new chapter she has been writing for herself outside of the public eye. Known for being one of the eldest siblings on the long-running reality series 19 Kids and Counting, later rebranded as Counting On, Jinger has spent much of her adult life navigating life beyond the spotlight, while also maintaining a presence online through her blog, podcast, and occasional updates with her family. This latest post, however, offered something entirely fresh, a glimpse into her world colliding with another familiar face from television history. The TLC star featured in the photo was none other than Tyand T-Boz Watkins, best known as a member of the legendary R&B group TLC. The meeting between Jinger and T-Boz took place at a music festival where T-Boz was performing with her band, and Jinger happened to be in attendance with her husband, Jeremy Volo. What began as a chance encounter quickly turned into a memorable experience, culminating in a selfie that fans couldn't get enough of. The photo itself was simple, just the two women smiling warmly beside each other, but its significance ran deep. What made this moment so special was the contrast between their backgrounds and how effortlessly they connected. Jinger, who grew up in a conservative, homeschooled household with 19 siblings, and T-Boz, a trailblazing entertainer whose music often tackled themes of empowerment, identity, and resilience, seemed like unlikely friends on paper. Yet, in the photo, there was no trace of awkwardness or pretense, only genuine joy and mutual respect. Their interaction reminded fans that despite differences in upbringing, career paths, and cultural influence, people can still find common ground and share moments of pure positivity. Fans were quick to react to the post, flooding Jinger's comments section with messages expressing their delight at seeing the two icons come together. Many pointed out how inspiring it was to see Jinger stepping into spaces that might have once felt off-limits to her, embracing new experiences and forging connections with people from all walks of life. Others reflected on the legacy of both Counting On and Touré-era TLC, noting how each show had played a unique role in shaping pop culture during their respective heydays. Beyond the nostalgia factor, Jinger's post also served as a subtle reminder of her personal evolution. Over the past few years, she has been open about her journey toward self-discovery, including stepping back from some of the strict beliefs she was raised with and finding her own voice. This includes advocating for mental health awareness, discussing the challenges of motherhood, and sharing insights from her book, Get Out of Your Head, Stilling the Noise Within. Seeing her engage in lighthearted, joyful moments like this one only reinforces how far she has come in embracing her individuality while staying true to her roots. T-Boz, too, has been vocal about her personal struggles and triumphs, making her an even more fitting figure for this kind of crossover. From battling sickle cell anemia to overcoming industry pressures and personal loss, she has remained a resilient force in the entertainment world. Her presence in Jinger's life, even if brief, highlighted the importance of female solidarity and the power of connecting across generational and cultural lines. The impact of the photo extended beyond just the fans' reactions. It also sparked conversations about the changing nature of celebrity interactions in the digital age. In an era where influencers and public figures often stage elaborate meet and greets for promotional purposes, the authenticity of this moment stood out. There was no indication that the meeting had been orchestrated for publicity. Rather, it appeared to be a spontaneous, organic encounter that simply captured two people enjoying each other's company. This kind of unplanned connection resonated with many followers who appreciated the rawness of the moment. It reminded them that sometimes the most meaningful interactions happen when we least expect them, reinforcing the idea that life's surprises are often the most cherished. For Jinger, who has been carefully rebuilding her public persona in recent years, this moment provided a refreshing contrast to some of the heavier topics she has discussed online. Looking ahead, fans are hopeful that this isn't the last time Jinger steps into new territory or collaborates with unexpected figures. While she remains focused on her family life and advocacy work, moments like these offer a glimpse into the broader world she is gradually becoming part of. Whether it's attending concerts, engaging in candid conversations about faith and identity, or simply sharing glimpses of everyday life, Jinger continues to evolve in ways that feel authentic and empowering. As the internet continues to celebrate this unexpected yet heartening crossover, one thing remains clear: Jinger Duggar is not afraid to embrace change. And for her devoted supporters, witnessing her take these small but significant steps forward is nothing short of thrilling. The photo with T-Bows may have been a fleeting moment in time, but its ripple effect will likely be felt for a long time to come. In conclusion, the unexpected photo of Jinger Duggar with T-Bows from TLC serves as a powerful reminder of the beauty of human connection, the joy of spontaneity, and the ongoing evolution of personal identity. As fans continue to follow Jinger's journey, moments like these reinforce the idea that growth often comes in the most surprising packages, and sometimes, all it takes is a single photo to bring people together in celebration of life's little miracles.